Hello and welcome back to the TRAC World Touring Car Championship. We're back for 3 more action-packed races, this time from the Pro Class. Once again, we're at Hockenheim on the 2.2 mile national circuit and the rain is falling. The mixed conditions will present an extra challenge to the drivers during the opening contest today, which going off round 1 should be extremely close. The championship standings show exactly how close things were after Monza, with AMS Mercs holding just a 5-point advantage over Nithell in the BMW. Then a further 10 points split the next 4 drivers of LK Noble, SVR Brothers, TRAC Crow and LMP Stats, who all complete the top 6. Expect to see that order change though, as 3rd place Noble is not racing tonight. Thinking about the order, let's take a look at the grid order for race number 1 after that soaking qualifying session. So, pole position went to the Audi RS3 of VRT Rattlesnake, with Track John sharing the front row in the Audi S3. Sean S91 and Herbie share row 4, making it an all-Audi top 4. Puggle X Modified is the first non-Audi in 5th, with Track Johnny in 6th. WRT McCloy Boy 7, DOR Rattlesnake in 8th, teammate DOR Cragadon on P9, Track Bliss P10. Championship leader AMS Mercs is down in 11th, with first of the BMW Stats in P12. Nithell in 13th, Track Crow 14th, with It's Creamed and SVR Brothers sharing row 8. Row 9 is Howman 2, that's Howard Fuller and SVR Birchie. Rounding out the field is the pair of Mercedes of Cassidy and Skunk Eye. So, down the grid for race number 1, Rattlesnake's on pole, you got the Oreo car there in 2nd. The lights come on, the revs rise. Out they go, away we go, good start from the RS3s on the right hand side of the grid, on the racing lines. Bad start there from the S3, but the three on the front row have definitely got away. Rattlesnake leads, Sean's there in 2nd. You've got the 2 Oreo cars 3rd and 4th. There's an Audi 1, 2, 3, 4 as the cars run wide on this slippery track, heading through turn number 1, down towards turn number 2 for the first time, and it's the pair of RS3s that are already building a gap over the pair of Oreo cars. The Chevrolets come from a big dive. That's one of the DOR Chevrolets that's just managed to get in between the 2 Oreo Audis. So that's Chevrolet 4, Audi 5 and McCloy Boy in the other Chevrolets getting into that, and all the cars are off. All 3 of them we just mentioned are all gone off. Curse the commentator there. That's put the Oreos out in front, and it's brought the Hondas into this as well. Heading down into the bottom end of the circuit, that's the 85 car now has got themselves up the order into 4th position, so they've been the one to profit out of the misery from the guys who've just been shown the grass. And one of the DOR cars now fending off the Simpson Chevrolet there, so awesome start from the Simpson car. The DOR cars have managed to get themselves through the pack already. The It's Cream Honda runs a little bit wide there, heading towards the stadium section for the first time, but Rattlesnake is the one that leads. Sean's there in 2nd. It's an RS3 1-2 with an S3 of the Oreo car of, I believe that's Johnny, in 3rd place. So awesome start for those guys. They've managed to build a little bit of a gap as we head through to the final couple of corners to complete lap number 1 here at the rain-sodden Hockenheim. It's really difficult to keep the car on the track, and you can tell that the BMWs are already struggling. They're already way down towards the field in qualifying. So thinking about BMWs, this is Nithell in the... Oh, they've just run a little bit wide. They've got on the grass, got the power down. The rear wheels got lit up, and they've just lost 1, 2, 3, 4 places as Crow's got through in a BMW. That's Howard Fuller, all sorts of crossed up there as well. So the RS3 at the background really struggling with some rear end grip. The BMWs are definitely not the cars to have in these conditions. They were fairly quick at Monza. They're 2nd through 6th in the championship at the moment, but definitely not going too well here. Down the back straight, you've got Nithell under the rear, Crow under the rear wing of McCloy Boy, heading in towards turn number 2. Birchie just in front, another BMW. Crow comes from a long way back to try and go around the outside, but that move's not going to work. They're not going to be able to get the power down, and that's going to leave them under threat from, I believe that is Nithell and one of the Hondas as well behind. That's Mercs who's trying to pull himself up the order. He qualified outside the top 14. Championship leader's not in a very good state right now. He's going to be worried about losing his championship lead potentially to Bradders in the BMW. Heading through the bottom corner on board with McCloy Boy in the Vauxhall liveried Chevrolet. A little bit confusing, but they're still GM brand, so I suppose it's okay. And you've got one of the Hondas going down the inside of an Audi there in front. As we go back on board with the McCloy Boy, you can see that's Birchie in front. The BMW's really tail happy, and this is really hard to get the power down. It's tough in the front wheel drive cars. It must be even harder in the rear wheel drive cars to get the power down. McCoy Boy locked into the back of Birchie. There's 4 cars there now heading in towards that bottom hairpin into the stadium section. And McCoy Boy goes for a dive. A Honda gets all sorts of crossed up. McCoy Boy's on the inside of Birchie. That move's done. The Honda's using all of the curb. That might allow the WRT Chevrolet. Oh, Rattlesnake's out of it. Rattlesnake's out of it. That looks like a disconnect to me, but that car is stranded. He's out of this race, so the early leader is now out of it. So that means that Sean's going to have inherited the lead. It's the first time he's managed to get to the front of one of these races. Will he be able to hold on board with, I believe this is Howard Fuller, heading through turn number 1. This is going to be how Howard fell down the order after challenging Merckx. He's got on the curb. Oh, he's just clipped the back of it, and that's just left the car uncontrollable, and he's been spat out towards the barriers. Those curbs are really unforgiving if the car's not set up right. So down the back straight now, you've got Cream against McClory Boy heading under the braking zone. You've got Herbie getting into that one as well. The Honda goes all sorts, crossed up the Simpsons cars off. Is that going to allow both of those cars through? The Chevrolet's got through. The Audi's still trying to fight it. There's a BMW Birchie in there as well. So Birchie's managed to get the move. Crow's in up behind the rear wing, but Herbie's lost 2 positions there. On board with Crow now, looking at the back of the 53 Audi of Herbie there. And you've got Honda starting to fall down the order. Birchie's managed to get themselves past the TRAC Ingram car, or Puglet Modified as he's known in the online world. Herbie's managed to just about fend off Crow in the 67. He's trying to have a crack, but he's got the rest of the field now bearing down on him, so these guys need to be careful about fighting too hard. You've got Merckx now under pressure from, I believe that's It's Cream behind him. So the championship leader here not having a very good start, and you've got Bradders in there as well. So Bradders, who potentially could be taking some points out of Merckx, heading through into the next couple of races, right up behind the rear wing of the Honda. But you've got Cream now trying to get past the championship leader. This is where you see the success balance. This is where you see the success points really coming into effect. These are not the conditions that you want to be restricted in. You want to have maximum grip out there. You don't want to be getting pegged back compared to the cars that are around you. Taking a look at Crow now as he's got Herbie in front of him, still trying to get past that Audi, and you've got to believe that's Nathel getting into the back of Crow as well. The 99 car just about gets the power down. The pair of BMWs slipping and sliding around. That might just about give Merckx the chance to get onto the back of them. Not quite though, as it looks like Cream at the back of him is going to try and have a shot. Crow versus Nathel into the braking zone. Late on the brakes for BMWs. That's one point these guys are strong on board with Crow. Look at the gap that Herbie's got already. So Bliss versus Birchie in front. Herbie's into this one as well. Look at the little gap he's got over Crow. That gap has been building. But Bliss versus Birchie. You've got Honda versus BMW. You've got to think the Honda is going to be the favourite car in this one to try to win out on that fight. But the Birchie BMW's just got a little bit more space as there's a little bit of a slide from Bliss there. That's going to bring Herbie into this one. Will Bliss, who was looking to overtake, lose a position heading through the final corner? Herbie side by side as he head down the main straight. Herbie's on the inside line. Bliss is on the outside. That Honda's just got the legs on the Audi. He pulls across the nose of him, heading in towards turn number 1. Bliss gets a wider line there. Maybe it was a little bit of a tag. It looked like that Honda was going a little bit sideways there. Herbie has got the nose down the inside, heading in towards turn number 2. Bliss versus Herbie, the Fanatec car versus the Simpson exhaust car. And Herbie's just about got the position by the looks of it. It's going to be a case of drag race through that puddle that really pulls at the front wheels. And Herbie around the outside just has the move done on Bliss. Heading down into the braking zone. You can see the BMWs behind are 3 wide. So you've got Bradders, you've got Crow, you've got Nathel heading in towards the braking zone at the bottom of the circuit. Crow goes deep, he gets the position on both of them. Nathel backs out of it a little bit. Is Bradders about to lose 2 positions? Crow's gone all sorts of sideways. So Bradders has got past Crow, the 155. Looks like Crow's the one who's lost 2 positions, as Nathel's managed to get through past Bradders as well. So awesome racing there. That's brought Skunk Eye and the Mercedes behind. And you've also got Merckx who closing in as well, with Johnny a little bit further behind as well. So awesome racing so far. On board with one of the BMWs, that's Crow taking a very wide line down the straight in towards the stadium section. This section is so hard to get the power down. Skunk Eye from towards the back of the grid is having a fantastic run. He's just got past Crow. This shows how the front wheel drive cars can easily get their power down compared to the BMWs. They are really struggling. The Beamers are falling down the order. So on board with Creams now. This is what happened to the Honda. We saw it drop down the order. This is why. So up behind Herbie. Oh, they've just run out wide. Maybe not concentrating. Maybe looking at Twitch chat or something like that. But they've gone off wide. They just about got the car collected up Oh, it's contact from behind from the trio of BMWs to see them go straight to the accident. So that's what happened to the Honda. This is on board with Crow, so we might be able to find out exactly what happened. See, the Honda's all sorts crossed up in front. Bradders has seen it. Crow's gone for the move. He's locked it up, and he's thrown it into the Honda, and unfortunately, that's how the Honda ended up in the barriers. So Chevrolet versus Chevrolet. This is McCloy Boy trying to get up the order once again. It's the DOR car now in front of him. So WRT versus DOR as he head down the back straight in towards turn number 2. McCloy Boy looks towards the inside. Are they going to throw it down there? Yes, they are. They're going to throw the move. The DOR car just left the door open, and that's allowed the Vauxhall liveried Chevrolet to get up another position. So that's an awesome drive so far from that Chevrolet. The Chevrolets aren't too strong around this place in the wet. So it's still a pair of Audis at the front of the field, maybe not necessarily the ones that we expected at the start of this race. You could say that Sean might be getting gifted this one, but he still had to work for it with the TRAC Oreo car behind him. But heading through the final corner, he's going to take his first win of the series. This is Sean coming across the line to take the first win at Hockenheim and win round number 4 of the Pro Championship. Take a look at the full result. Sean takes the win ahead of Puglet in the Honda second. Track Johnny comes home in third place after a charge through the field. McCoy Boy comes home fourth, leading a pack of Chevrolets. Of the 2 DOR cars are Craggadon and Snake Eye in 5th and 6th. Birchie the top BMW in 7th with Herbie in 8th. Then it's the pair of BMWs of Stats and Bradders 9th and 10th. Skunk Eye and the Mercedes off the back of the grid in P11. Rounding out the top 12 was Track Crow in the BMW. So the next race is going to be a partial reverse grid. The random number generator once again hit number 12. So Track Crow goes on to pole position and the Mercedes of Skunk Eye alongside him. So down in the grid, ready to go racing for race number 2 of the day. Waiting for the lights to come on, they do so now. BMW on the front, Mercedes in second. Maybe a little bit of a jump start there for the BMW, but the lights do go out. Those beamers are so quick, such quick starting, so much of a contrast between the wet and the dry. It's a BMW 1, 2, 3 already. That Mercedes is tumbling down the order. As there's cars off towards the background as well. Not sure what happened there. Looks like Rattlesnake might have been involved. But that Mercedes is tumbling down the order already. He's lost 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 places. Herbie's trying to make it. Herbie's trying to take the 5th place, but the Mercedes is coming back against Birchie. But it is a BMW 1, 2, 3, 4. Such stark contrast between the first race and the second. Crow has sodded off at the front of this one. The top 3 have already got a gap to Birchie in 4th. Skunk Eye in the 420. Mercedes is now about to lose another position as the Chevrolet comes from out of nowhere, makes a little bit of contact with the back of the Mercedes, but backs out of it and hands the Mercedes back the position. So from pole position down towards, from the front row, down to 4th place for Skunk Eye, but it's pole position to the lead for Track Crow as the DOR car now loses the place to Herbie in the Audi. So they're now down to 6th place, heading towards the stadium section for the first time. Crow now has lost the lead to Nathel in the black BMW, but don't count out Brad as he's going around the outside to have a crack at it, but he doesn't quite get the move off. Crow's back down his inside, a little bit of contact, but Crow has lost 2 positions. It's Nathel in the black BMW bank car that leads from Bradders in 2nd, Crow in 3rd, and now you've got the Mercedes of Skunk Eye back up to 4th. He's managed to get past Birchie in the Rockstar BMW for 4th place. So BMW 1, 2, 3, Mercedes 4, BMW 5. It's a massive contrast in results to what we saw in the first race. Those beamers really have it hooked up in the dry. Definitely not the cars you want in the wet. But that looks like Stats has now gone off towards the outside of the beamers, so maybe not all of them have the setup they want. But Birchie in the 717 cars coming back down the inside of the 420 Mercedes. The Mercedes moves over to cover and just about looks like they're going to get the run. But now Bradders has got to the lead against Nathel. The front 3 are really close together, but it's now Bradders that leads ahead of Nathel in 2nd, who's trying to fend off an attack from Crow in 3rd. The 99 car just holding on in 2nd place against Crow in the 67 car. On board with Nathel, looking at the back of the 155. That's Bradders that now leads, and look at the gap he's got already. He's going to be taking a lot of points here out of Merckx and Nathel in the championship. On board with Rattlesnake now. This is a replay of the start, and it looks like the Moses effect is taking a place there as he gets into the back of a pair of the Hondas. Not sure which Hondas they were, but that's what happened at the start. We look at Crow and Nathel now side by side, heading in towards the braking zone. Crow on the outside, Nathel on the inside. Nathel just has the legs on the BMW in the braking zone. Crow's going to go for the cutback though, heading in towards the Mercedes-Benz grandstand. firing it into the hairpin. He's around the outside. That'll give him the inside for the next corner, but he goes to the cutback instead. Nathal runs a touch wide. Crow is still side by side, and Nathal sweeps across the nose of Crow in the BMW to take that position back. The fight for second place is going to go right down to the wire here, heading towards the stadium section. Don't count out the Mercedes behind. They're starting to close up now as these two are battling. Maybe a little bit of contact there, so there's a bit of a slide for Nathal as they head into the bottom hairpin. Nathal going really defensive, but Crow is throwing everything he can at Nathal in front of him. Runs a little bit wide. This is what Skunkai wants. He's thrown a move, not quite got the legs to get the move done, but the Mercedes now right on the back of him, and he's brought Birchie, Stat, and that looks like Merckx already up in towards the top 10. That Merckx Honda is now running unrestricted, finished outside the top 12, so now he's completely unrestricted. This is where the Honda's going to shine, but Crow has to fend off from the Mercedes behind him. Heading down towards the back straight towards turn number 2, the 67 car just hanging on in third place. You can see Bradazo has cleared off at the front. Stats versus Merckx. Merckx is around the outside. This is a move forward position. The Honda down the inside of the BMW, and Merckx up a position on Stats. So awesome start there from Merckx. He's really trying to make up for lost ground now, try and retain that championship lead, that very slim championship lead he held coming into this round from Monza, but he's around the outside now. Stats down the inside, riding on board with Merckx in the Honda. He's got a rear wing. Oh, he's got a windscreen full of Birchie's BMW in front. It's 3 wide into that bottom hairpin. Merckx in the middle of a BMW sandwich. That move's not going to end particularly well. We're on board with Merckx, but he's just about got the legs. He's thrown it down the inside of Stats. He's just held on from Birchie, but Stats in the 87 car has got the move done on AMS Merckx in the Honda. So Stats up 2 positions for the price of 1 there. Merckx is not done yet, though. He's not going to let them go. He's going to try and go around the outside into this bottom hairpin, but Stats sees him coming. He moves into the inside to cover. Gets a little bit of a wide run. Merckx shows a nose heading through this flat out section. That's not really an overtaking point. You want to hold off for this move into the bottom of the last couple of corners. He's thrown it deep, and he just about has the legs to get side by side with the BMW. Stats clips the gravel, and that's going to allow Merckx to come in front, sweep across the nose before they head in towards turn number 1. So championship leader Merckx up a position. This is going to help him out. Rattlesnake, though, from the back of the grid after a disconnect, is firing through the order already. He's got DOR, I believe that's DOR Craggadon in the LFC DOR car, down in towards turn number 2. This is his next target. Will Rattlesnake throw it down the inside? Yes, he does. Lock up from the Chevrolet. That's going to help Rattlesnake get through. He gets the power down. Massive wheel spin from the Audi. 400 horsepower through the front wheels. It's not a very easy thing to put down, and he gets the move done. So Rattlesnake up a position. He's charging through the order right now. Next target looks like it's McClory Boy in the Vauxhall Chevrolet. That's his next target, but look at the gap he's got to close up. So it's going to be a little bit more difficult for him to get on terms with that Chevrolet in front, potentially get even further through the order. He scored pole position in the wet. He was leading until a disconnect. This is a battle towards the front of the field, still battling over second place. Crow and Nathal have a little bit of a gap now over Skunkai in the Mercedes in second place. Crow all over the curb, trying to get the best exit he can compared to that BMW in front of him. Again, these cars ridiculously closely matched. He's using all of the curb and a little bit more. He's trying everything to get on terms with Nathal in front. This is what you have to do when you're racing with equal cars. You have to maximise the track as much as possible. Try and get every single tiny advantage that you can, be it in setup, be it in driving style, be it in taking a slightly tighter line through turn number 1 to potentially get the power down and get a run in towards turn number 2. That looks like what Crow has done in the 67 car. He's just got the legs on the 99 car in front. He's going to take a tighter line again, but Nathal's got him covered. Knows that move's coming behind. You've got what looks like Merckx and Skunkai fighting. So Skunkai and Merckx have already got past Stat in the BMW behind. The side by side heading into the braking zone. This is the fight over 4th position, and Merckx has fired it down the inside of the Mercedes and takes over 4th place, but the 420 car is not going to let him go, as in front it looks like Crow and Nathal are going at it again, but Merckx has got the position. He's up into 4th place. So great start for the championship leader. He's trying to preserve his championship lead as best as he can, but the 420 car is now under pressure from Stats and the BMW behind. Stats throws it towards the inside of this long right-hander before the stadium section. Doesn't quite have the move completed there. He's going to potentially look for a dive into this hairpin, but Skunkai sees it coming. That Patronus coloured Mercedes definitely has a bit more of a defending advantage here compared to the overtaking ability of Stats behind. Heading towards the final couple of corners. Stats, the BMW locked into the rear wing of the Mercedes in front of him. You've got to think the BMW is going to potentially chuck a move in towards turn number 1. He's going to go for it. He moves out towards the right-hand side of the track. He throws it towards the inside. Will that move come off? Skunkai just about gives him the space. The pair are still side by side heading through turn 1. As that looks like Burgie's bobbling off towards the curbs, towards the barriers, but he just keeps the car on. And Skunkai just keeps the position, but Stats from a long way back throws it down the inside. Brilliant move from the Beamer, but he needs to get the power down compared to the front wheel drive Mercedes. Yes, he does. He just gets that move completed. So that Stats up a position. That's Skunkai from the front row down another position. The Mercedes again falling down the order, but he's not going to go lying down. He's going to try and throw it around the outside of the Beamer, looking for a cutback manoeuvre here. He just gets the nose alongside, just about gets the cutback. It's number 420 versus the 87, but the 87 car just has that little bit more straight line speed and manages to get away, as it looks like in front Merckx might have made a move for third place. You've got the Honda man trying to fire his way through the order. Rattlesnake now right on the back of McCloy Boy, heading towards the stadium section. The RS3 goes towards the inside of the Chevrolet, just about gets the move done, but McCloy Boy looks like they're going to come around the outside of them, maybe try and take the move back. A little bit of contact there. That's going to bring the Oreo car in behind. I believe that's TRAC John trying to come back through the order, but the RS3 just has that move completed on the Chevrolet. That leaves the Chevrolet vulnerable to the S3 behind. So having lost a position to one Audi, he might be able to lose a position to another one. McCloy Boy trying to fend off the Oreo car, moves towards the inside, takes a really defensive line down the main straight, but the Oreo car, the number 9 car, has already got the move done. So TRAC John up a position on McCloy Boy already. So awesome move there, back towards the front of the field. You've got Nathel versus AMS Merckx, championship leader. This is over second place. Nathel's gone wide on the curb. They're sideways. They're just about going to hold on. No, they're not. Merckx has got the move done. So Merckx will be into second place from outside the top 10. Fantastic driving from the championship leader. You can see why he's so far up the order, but he's going to have a long way to go to try and catch Bradders in the second of the BMWs. This is the leader though, heading through the final couple of corners. It's going to be the first double winner of the championship in the Pro class. It's going to be another win for BMW, the dominant car in these conditions. You've got to think that it's going to be a BMW championship to lose at this stage, but it is a little bit early to call that. But coming through the final corner, it's going to be SVR Bradders, the first double winner in the Pro championship, to win round number 5 of the Pro category. Take a look at the full results. It confirms Bradder takes the win against AMS Merckx in second. Stats, Crow and Nathel round out the top 5 in all BMWs. Skunkai from the front row comes home 6th. Rattlesnake from the back of the grid finishes 7th. Burgie 8th. TRAC John 9th. Herbie finishes 10th, with WRT McCloy Boy down in 11th. DOR Snake Eye rounds out the top 12 for Chevrolet. The next race is going to be a full reverse grid, so if race 2 is anything to go by, this one could be carnage. So for the final time tonight, we head down towards the grid for race number 3 of the evening. It's Puglet and Cassidy on the front row, Johnny and Craggadon on row number 2. Waiting for the lights to come on. They do now. Oh, jump start there from Craggadon. He gets the car stopped. The stewards might want to take a look at that one. Lights go out. Away we go. Good start from the front row. Craggadon, after that jump, ends up falling down the order, so he might just about get away with it. But it's Cassidy that takes the early lead in towards turn number 1. Looks like Puglet might have a run on him, though. Cassidy's not got a good exit there. Looking at Johnny there in third place. And it's Cassidy that's in second place. Howard Fuller coming from a long way back on Johnny, but Puglet leads, Cassidy second. You've got Johnny moving up into second place, Cassidy falling down the order there. And looks like that's creamed in the Honda that's come round into third place. So Cassidy in the 422 Mercedes is falling down the order. You've got Howard Fuller up there as well. He's had 2 poor races. Now this one might be the chance for him to get a decent result. But he's losing a place now to Rattlesnake around the outside. Cassidy's trying to defend in the 422. He's made contact with the back of Herbie. Oh, he's been piled off. Cassidy in the Mercedes been piled off. There's a few more cars going off. This is a little bit further back. This is on board one of the DOR cars. Firing it down in towards turn number 2. Oh, it's straight off. It's gone straight on. Oh, contact with the teammates as well. So Snake Eye ends up pushing Craggadon off the field, and that's both of them off. This is on board with, I believe this is Nathel a little bit further back. So we're going to get a box seat to see what happens here. They're going firing down the inside. Oh, there's 3-4 cars involved in that. So Birchie and Rattlesnake get into that one as well. Back towards the front of the field, though, you can see the gap that Puglet has over Cream in second place. Johnny is trying to fight to hold on to third place. Oh, there's one of the Hondas really sideways. That's Bliss that's gone really sideways in the Simpsons car. They caught the gravel. They're going to be falling down the order. They're about to lose a place to Chloe Boy behind. Fuller's managed to get through there as well. So a couple of places lost there for Bliss in the second of the Simpson Hondas, with one of them up at the front. That's not really what you want to see from a teammate there. As you see, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth place is Bliss in the second of the Simpsons car. Under pressure now from a Chloe Boy behind. That looks like Bradders is up there as well. So heading towards the stadium section now. Bliss trying to get on terms with Howard Fuller in the Audi in front. Chloe Boy's not too far behind. So Bliss, as well as trying to attack, is going to have to try and defend as well. So quite a bit of pressure being piled on both drivers there. Heading through the stadium section. Bliss run a little bit wide over the clip of grass. They're firing off towards the barriers, so that might end Bliss's day there. Chloe Boy's gone through. Bradders has gone through. Sean's gone through. Rattlesnake's gone through, so he's up the order quite quickly, but that looks like day done for TRAC Bliss, who's been sent off towards the exit. That looked like their own mistake in front, though. You've got Johnny versus Herbie. Herbie's trying to go for a podium position here. Audi versus Audi. Herbie gets a better run through there. Johnny still on the inside, though. He's not going to let this position go. This is the best position these guys have been running in so far this season, and Herbie in the 53 car has taken the final podium position off Johnny. You've got Howard Fuller up there as well in 5th place. So Audi 3, 4, 5. This could get quite interesting. This is one of Fuller's best positions he's been running in. And a little bit further on, heading towards the stadium section, you've got Johnny trying to defend from Fuller. He gets a little bit deep into that corner. Fuller's going to throw it towards the inside of the stadium section. Doesn't quite have the legs to get in towards the Oreo Audi S3. So maybe the S3 gear slightly longer than the RS3. That would be quite an interesting difference. These two cars are two different specs. NGTC versus TCR. It's now TCR versus TC1 as the Chevrolet tries to throw it down the inside of the final corner on the TCR spec Audi RS3. The RS3 is the most powerful car on the grid with just about 400 horsepower, but the TC1 cars are a lot more sophisticated than the TCRs. They can carry a lot more speed through the corners. But the TC1 Chevrolet is closing up on the back of the TCR Audi RS3. Heading in towards turn number 2. Will McCloboy throw it down the inside this corner. They go for the move. They make a little bit of contact with the side of the RS3. Don't quite get the power down. They're side by side heading through turn number 3. Down the back straight in towards the heavy braking zone. You've got VRT Rattlesnake as well trying to get up the order. The pair are side by side. The TC1 Chevrolet's on the inside heading in towards the braking zone for the hairpin, and looks like they'll just about get the position on Howard Fuller on board with the Team Hard touring car driver, and he's just lost the position to the Super Touring liveried Chevrolet in front of him. Heading in towards the Mercedes Stadium section. He's not quite got the legs to get back on terms with the Chevrolet, but you can see there's 2 more RS3s trying to get into the fight behind with a car in between. Little bit of a bobble there from the Chevrolet over the curb, heading towards the stadium section through the fast corner. Looks like Bradders now has a lot of pressure from Sean and Rattlesnake behind him. Sean takes a very deep line into that corner. He needs to be careful not to pick up a track limit to warn him, as you've got Rattlesnake throwing it towards the inside of the RS3 man. Will Rattlesnake be able to get himself up the order? He had a charge through the order to finish 7th from last on the grid in race number 2 after a disconnect in race number 1. He's going to be looking to make amends against the race number 1 winner. Sean gets a little bit sideways through that final corner. He's lost a little bit of ground to Bradders. VRT Rattlesnake, though, is right into the slipstream of both of the cars. So he's going to get a double slipstream heading down towards turn number 1. He moves out, shows the nose, just lets Sean know that he's there. Gets his mirrors full of that lime green, that teal-coloured Audi RS3. Bradders and Rattlesnake run a little bit deep. Sean of the Elwins car's gone down the inside of Bradders. He's got the move done before they even get towards turn number 2. So Sean up a position already. The 55 car beating out the 155 car, while Rattlesnake now is right into the slipstream of the BMW in front of him. So heading down the back straight now, Bradders is in the slipstream. Rattlesnake's in the slipstream. There's a double effect going on here. Contact between the 2 of them. Sean's gone sideways. Will that allow Rattlesnake to get through on the pair of them? He's got Bradders. Will he be able to take Sean as well? Sean's gone sideways through there. He's locked up into that corner. Rattlesnake gets both positions. So Rattlesnake up into 6th place, and more contact between Sean and Bradders. Expect to see the pair of them in the stewards room after the end of this race, but it's not finished yet between the pair of them. So on board now with Chloe Boy trying to get past Track Johnny in the Oreo Audi. Now Audi's had a strong run towards the start of this race, but he's dropped off the leaders as they head towards the stadium section. McCloy boys on the inside while they fancy a dive in towards this fast corner. They throw it in, but they run a little bit wide. That's allowed the Oreo car to come back at them, and that's allowed Howard Fuller to get into this fight as well. So it's the fight over the final podium spot. Fuller's sideways. He's way too late on the brakes, gets the rears locked up, and that's going to give McCloy boy a little bit of breathing room against Howard Fuller, but they've lost ground to Johnny in the lead Audi S3. But the three of them fighting over third place have lost ground to the two Hondas, which are out in front of this race. So there's third, fourth, fifth and sixth in very close succession. You got Rattlesnake getting into this one as well. So it's going to be RS3 versus RS3 very soon as Fuller and Rattlesnake extend the track as much as possible. They're going to have to be really careful about track limits if they keep throwing that line. McCloy boy now on Johnny heading in towards turn number 2. Looks like Rattlesnake is lining Howard Fuller up for a move down towards the bottom hairpin. So expect to see that one as he locks into the slipstream of the Audi RS3. But the RS3 in front of him is in the slipstream of the Chevrolet, who in turn has a slipstream from the Audi S3 in front of him. Taking a look at Howard Fuller heading in towards that bottom hairpin. The 65 car running about as high as it has done all weekend. Rattlesnake though now having a look on Howard Fuller. This is as close as he's been over the last lap or two. Heading down towards the break-in of turn number 2. Will Rattlesnake fancy a dive? Fuller moves right over to the right hand side to defend. He's going to have to go the long way round if he wants to, but McCloy boy in front has gone the short route down the inside of Johnny, while Fuller is about to lose out to Rattlesnake as well. Holding the inside line, looks like it's just about paid dividends for Fuller, and McCloy boy has to lock back into the slipstream with the S3 in front. They both move out, they both show the nose. Fuller's driving the car right down the right hand side of the track. Rattlesnake's going to have to go the long way round on this Team Hard Run Audi if he wants to try and get into the top 5. Rattlesnake though gets the cut back. Will he fancy a move down the inside again? Fuller runs a defensive line, so that's going to be slowing the pair of them down. So Rattlesnake, if he wants to try and get towards the top of the top 3, he's going to have to try and dispose of this heavily defending Audi as quickly as he can. On board with Rattlesnake heading down towards the stadium section in front. McCloy boy's going to go for the move again on track Johnny. This time though, looks like they've just got the move stuck. Johnny goes back to defend, but isn't able to get alongside the Chevrolet, while behind Rattlesnake's going to try and throw it around the outside of Howard Fuller, just about keeping the nose alongside the RS3. Howard shows him the grass though, and Rattlesnake has to back out of it. Heading into the final corner, Rattlesnake throws it to the inside this time around. That's where you want to be. That's the best overtaking point to be at, and he just about has the move done. They're side by side, heading down the main straight, across the lines, put under the lap in the book. There's absolutely nothing to separate them. Rattlesnake though has the inside for turn number 1. You've got to think he's going to be able to take that corner. He uses all of the track, forces Fuller wide. Fuller still side by side with him. He's just got the nose in front. Again, these guys have to be careful of track limits. If they keep doing that, they might end up picking up a penalty. So this fight is going to be worth absolutely 0. Rattlesnake still on the inside. They're still side by side, and Fuller just backs out and lets him go. So Fuller now down a position. Heading through the final couple of corners though, it's Puglet Modified that just about has the legs over its cream. Herbie's really close behind, so this is potentially going to be a drag race to the line between the two Hondas. Cream is throwing everything in these final couple of corners to get back on terms with the Honda in front of him, but it's going to be the Simpsons exhaust car. It's going to be Puglet X Modified that's going to come across the line, take the reverse grid win round number 6 of the championship for Honda. It's got Honda 1-2 with Cream in second place. Third is going to go the way of Herbie in the Audi S3. WRT McCloy boy makes it 4 rounds in the top 4 with the Chevrolet, and Track Johnny is the second RS S3 to round out the top 5. Rattlesnake has to settle for 6th position with Howard Fuller just behind him. SVR Brothers in 8th, Sean S91 9th. SVR Brothers rounds out the top 10 with Track John 11th and DOR Snake Eye after that contact at the start, recovering back to 12th. So after all that, there is a new name at the top of the pro standings. SVR Brothers now holds the lead on 260, 5 points ahead of former leader MS Merckx. The fella is pushed down to 3rd with Stats in 4th. WRT McCloy boy moves up to 5th, equal on points with Stats. The Track Crow just 2 points further behind to round out the top 6. It gets even closer for 7th, 8th and 9th, with just 2 points separating Snake Eye, Birchie and Herbie. Howard Fuller, Howman 2 rounds out the top 10 on 224, equal on points with Track John. Finishing the top 12 is the second of the Oreo cars, just a further point back of Track Johnny. Next time we see the pro guys is going to be when we head to Mugello, Italy for round number 3 of the championship. If you like what you've seen and you want to see more, don't forget to like, share, subscribe and hit the bell notification so you don't miss out on our latest uploads. See you in Mugello.